Hello students, welcome to Notebook. This chapter has been divided into 3 sections. In the first section, we will discuss about the history of business, concept of economic activity, and distinguish between business, profession, and employment. In the second section, we will discuss on the characteristics, objectives, and business risks. In the third section, we will discuss the categories of business. Students, the start of business and trade can be traced back to the history of time. In your history lessons, you would have seen every civilization was involved in the economic activities of trade and commerce. Civilizations like Harappa and Mohenjo-daro traded in metals like gold, silver, with the civilizations in Central Asia. Trade routes were developed across Asia, Europe, and Africa to ferry goods, which helped kingdoms flourish and get introduced to new items such as spices, silk, etc. Goods were transported by trade routes which were on land and sea. Reference to Silk Route, Spice Route can be seen in history as major cities and towns developed around those routes as trade flourished. While there has been major wars between kingdoms for control, trade and business has always been progressive. Some of the most common trading centers found in ancient India are Pataliputra, Peshawar, Taxila, Indraprastha. Other cities like Mathura, Varanasi, Mithila, Surat, Kanchi, Madurai, Broch, Kaveripatta, Tamralipta were also important cities where trade was carried out. Students, one common question which can come on this section is the items of import and export of ancient India. Exports were spices, indigo, opium, pearls, precious stones. Imports were silk, precious metals, horses, coral, etc. As commercial activity grew in India, there were major developments happening in the way the business were conducted. Barter system was slowly getting supplemented by metallic money. It led to the acceleration of economic activities. Documents such as hundi and chitti gained prominence for carrying out transactions. Hundis were written contracts which had promised to pay money which was unconditional and it was transferable. The indigenous banking system started to get formed where individuals would deposit monies with moneylenders and hundis were issued to facilitate trade and commerce. As business and trade grew, the hundis got more complicated and various types of hundis were formed to facilitate business. Some examples are Darshani Hundi, Muddati Hundi, Sahajog Hundi. With the growth in trade, advancement of commercial operations, intermediaries started playing an important role. They bought crafts from manufacturers and sold it to people in the market. In this way, not only passed on the risk to themselves, but also established the channels of commission agents, brokers. Different communities grew across India who dominated these business. The Punjabi, Multani, North India, Bhatts, Gujarat, Mahajans, Western India are some of the examples. Before the arrival of the East India Company, India was a very prosperous region. It was referred to as Swarnabhumi or Swarnadeep by many travelers during the early medieval times. The British colonization led to the adverse effect to the Indian economy, and it is only after independence that India has started to re-industrialize. Post-independence, India had many issues such as the lack of capital, huge population, inadequate infrastructure which led to the issues of economic growth. In 1991, with the liberalization of the Indian economy, the pace of growth picked up. Now, with many current initiatives such as Make in India, Skill India, which are likely to grow India at a rapid pace. Students, before we go into the definition of business and its characteristics, let us understand what is an economic activity. An activity which is performed with the purpose of earning money. It is called an economic activity. Example, if a person cooks food and delivers it to homes for a price, it is considered an economic activity. But if he or she cooks for their own consumption, it is to meet their basic needs and will not be considered as an economic activity. If the economic activity is done regularly and in exchange of money to make a profit, it is considered to be a business. Students, regularity is an important point to remember in case of business. Since we now understand what an economic activity is, it is also important for us to understand business, employment, and profession. Business refers to an occupation which involves purchase, production, sale of goods or services with an objective to earn profit. Profession is when a person earns fees from doing work which the professional has acquired special knowledge for. Example, doctors. Employment is an economic activity when a person works for others in exchange of salary or wages. There is a simple chart which is made in the NCERT books which can be as a point of reference to understand the differences better. An example of business is a shop or a factory, and in this case we are referring to the owner. Doctor, chartered accountants, lawyers are examples professionals. Examples of employment are jobs in offices like banks, companies, etc. Students, if you see professionals have a requirement to be a member of a professional body and are guided by the conduct of the body as well, example, chartered accountants are members of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, ICAI, and are governed by the Code of Conduct of the Institute. Employees, on the other hand, meet the qualifications as per the job that they are in. Example, engineers in case they are in construction or management degrees in case they are in a managerial positions. The person conducting the business is governed by the laws of the land. Similarly, the risk of a person in business is the highest as compared to an employee or a professional. The corresponding rewards and return also vary along with it. We come to the end of this session. Discuss among your friends about the various other economic activities that you see and try and classify them in the 3 buckets. See you in the other videos. Bye.